Hello, welcome back to Actual Play, The Twilight Throne and the Houses of Ruin. I'm Sean. I use he/him pronouns. I don't need to do introductions. We're in the mid bit. I'm just too wired for that, so I can't not do it. Anywho, we're picking up where we left off in the middle of our interlude, doing all sorts of mischief.
Yeah. Okay. So I was thinking before we get into the next set of interlude actions, we could cut away to see what the Harbingers are up to.
Yeah.
There
Oh
and their
God.
thing. So just as a review, we know that the Harbingers of the Apocalypse are humans newly awakened to stolen powers, chaos magic fueled by despair, and we know that humans touched by the promise of annihilation will survive the apocalypse, ensuring the nobles will pay for all that they've done. So I think in this moment we see from we see things play out between Kavar and the administrator, right? And then there's a moment where the camera violently drops down in a similar way that it dropped onto Eloise earlier during the opening. And so we crash through the waves, the water, the ocean that is below the city of doors. And as we go deeper and deeper towards the bottom of the ocean floor, we see underneath Oceana, one of the first humans to gain access to chaos magic. And she's standing there, all of these strange fish bones shifting and moving. The blood that's pouring out of her mouth is floating upwards in the dark water. And she reaches outwards, right? And we see her open her mouth to sing in an almost whale song kind of way. And as the music builds, as her song reaches crescendo, it starts to make sense. Like the strange words start to translate, there's a susurring a noise as we start to understand what it means. And Oceana says, I offer you blood, and I offer you chaos. I offer you bone, and I offer you water. Come closer, Apocalypse. I will give you all in exchange for power. And we see shifting under the waters, moving towards her, is this huge whale-like creature, except it's bringing with it all of these I think we call back to the souls that our dear Eloise consumed earlier. We get just a look of them being attached to this whale-like creature, and we see the glowing bones of it. And right before it crashes into Oceana, the scene cuts to black. Right. So I think we're ready for our second round of interlude actions. Do you even want to go in the same order, or do we? But honestly, people can just jump in, however they like. But I'm happy to start with Eloise. If you have an idea for her, Sean.
I got something. Yeah. I am going to surprise, seek intrigue, because it's the thing I like to do, and I want to set us up to have lots of avenues for our first. What are our scores called? What's our
schemes?
Schemes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I'm gonna have lots of options for our first schemes.
Yeah.
So Misha, I would like to seek a audience with Ida. Would you like to set the circumstances and the setting for the conversation? Let's say where I can find her. This could be before Kavar. This could be after. Depending on Connie, if you have scenes that you still want Eloise with, this doesn't have to be separate. This doesn't have to be in time, right? But
What is time? It's not.
Yeah,
linear.
what is time exactly?
Sure. I think she agrees to meet you in of all places, an orphanage.
Love it. A human
Somehow
orphanage?
That's the most shocking answer this whole session.
Yeah. Like a noble orphanage?
No, a human orphanage.
A human orphanage. Okay, cool. Yeah. So this is down on the realms of the humans. Are we in some sort of disguise so that the humans like don't think we're gods among us? I mean, you can disguise yourself no
Well,
matter
yeah,
what.
Ada is.
Yeah. Cool. I don't think Eloise can disguise herself all that well. So like as Eloise is coming in, you hear like, what is it? It's death incarnate. You know, people have run off. Like she's like, yeah, well, it happens. But I think kids are oddly fine with her presence.
Kids really are oddly fine with weird ass crap.
Right,
Just
right.
say it.
Like,
Oh, can I
maybe-
offer something, Sean? Sorry, go ahead.
No, go. Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, I would love it if like the adults of the humans like were shocked at first screaming, and then they do that weird human thing where they just can't handle it, right?
Mhm.
And so their brains kind of shut down, and then they just go back, and they no longer see you, right? But it's not the same way that Ida does it, where it's more subtle and they're completely off, right? They're
Right.
off kilter, and they don't know why, but
Oh.
they go out of their way to ignore you.
One of them was like outside, like raking up some leaves, and it's just like frozen. And like one of my entourage, like with their skeletal hands, is like, "Here, let me help you rake the leaves." And they're just kind of like, "Okay, I guess we're raking leaves now again." And it's just like, anyway, I always travel with an edible entourage. They might all be eaten at any time if they piss me off. But so Eloise walks in, and behind the veil, you can tell that she's surprised that this is where you would want to. Like, she's like wondering if you're, she's like, why would we want to meet here? And she picks up like a child's toy that they have, some like little one of those toys that like you like have like a paddle and a ball or something like that, and she like tries to do it. It like she doesn't really know how to do it, so it just sort of turns to dust in her hands, and she's like, oh well. Just kind of wipes her hands off, and then finally gets around to business. And it's like, so Ida, who are we slaying? Not present humans aside, and where she was all like with Kavar, she was like putting on all these airs, like she's very frank. She's like, I know you know who's weak. I know it. So, what house goes first? All houses are on the table, mine included. No preference.
Yours included.
Well, they're all going down sooner or later. I mean, these, and she sort of gestures at the humans, they're going to be our undoing. But at least we can decide the order of operations. At least we can pick how it all unfolds. Who do you hate, Ida? Who do you loathe? Who has to suffer?
Hate is far too strong an emotion, darling. That would require investment and energy.
I know you hate. I know you seethe. I've heard whispers. I know you have vendettas. And I will not pry into why, unless you want to tell me.
I merely follow orders, darling.
What does, sorry, I would know this because we all know these sort of like important people of the houses. Nope, that's not it. Glass and clay. Why can't I find who are the important people? What does the first of daggers? Where does the first of daggers aim their blades?
Oh, that's a good question. Which was the house that's fallen already?
Ooh, see, that was Misha's so good at going into my game designer brain. I was honestly thinking of starting with the fallen house. I feel like that is a sign. That is a sign that we should start with one. I'm gonna roll to see which one.
Nice. Well, the house that sort of came up in your last thing, not that we need to go for that, was the house of Cog and Gear. That was the house.
No. Last session when we were doing session 0, we said one of them had already fallen, but we.
Oh, Ash and Flame was.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was my old one. I don't think they've completely fallen, but they're definitely weaker.
Gotcha.
Yeah. There you go. Mm-hmm. Right, they no longer own as much of the underworld as they used to, right?
Mhm.
And hell has become smaller, right?
Hell has become smaller. Like I think that there's this land of perpetual crypts and graves and undead, and like hell where maybe souls go to if souls exist. I don't think souls really exist. I think souls are are like a marketing scheme from somebody up in heaven. But if souls exist, there's fewer of them down in hell because their bodies are trapped in some undead form in the House of Blood and Bone.
She kind of looks at you and steeples her fingers.
Eloise
What's
sort of
the
tries to
information
mirror
worth
you,
for
like
you?
she tries to, but she like there's like weird cracking of knuckles and things like that as she tries to. She's not. She can't move like gracefully like you do.
What is the information worth to you, darling?
I thought we could speak plainly in this place of whatever these things are.
They're called
Um.
children.
Oh.
These
And that
dwarves
like
don't have parents.
and that like kind of makes Eloise sad. She's like, oh, they're all doomed anyway. They'll either die young or grow up and die old, but they'll all die.
So will we, according to you.
Well, yes, but the point is, let's die the way we want to die. After spending an eternity toiling with these, I think it's time for us to pick and choose. What's it worth to me? Tell me the house you want to slay, and I will be at your side to plunge the daggers into their skulls. Is that not enough of a commitment?
I mean, it's a commitment. I see no need to hasten the demise of our fellows so messily.
So I think I'm going to ask my question now because
Okay.
I thought my question was going to be like, who? Hey, Dennis, thanks for joining us. I thought my question was going to be like, who we murdering? But now it's like you don't want to be murdering. So I'm wondering why who you want to protect? Why you don't want to just I feel like we all know annihilation is around the corner. So it's like now I'm surprised that you don't want to something you must want to hold on to. So I'm going to ask the question: will you reveal a personal vulnerability to me? And that the form of that question is just going to be like, so who is it that you want to save? And you don't have to answer that at all. But
Because if you do set boundaries, instead Eloise will mark XP, right?
yeah, I'll get XP if you say, nah, I'm not telling you, and I'll get +1 to the roll if you tell me who you
Gotcha.
want to save. So it's good either way. I'm super happy either way.
I think some of my secrets are my own.
Like a oyster with a beautiful pearl inside that I just want to crack open.
So
You're-
violent, Eloise.
I only have
Usually
so
that's
much.
my shtick.
I know, but you're the only one who I can show my hunger to. All right, so I've been demanding. I was like, I have 2 dots in demand. I gotta like stop being all floofy. I gotta start demanding. So I'm gonna just demand that you tell me who you want to murder. I feel like I've been demanding. I feel like demand is the right.
I love it.
This.
So good.
This is really why I changed my demeanor. I was like, shit, I gotta stop trying to entice. So I'm gonna roll 2 dice because you did not tell me your personal vulnerability. And I think even without you telling me, like I've made it clear, like we're gonna pick a house to annihilate.
But you let Ida set the circumstances, so
I
that's
did.
+1 D.
Oh, I get +1 because of that. Okay, I don't get +1 link, but I do get +1 roll because you said circumstances. Okay, roll. Let's do the thing. Let's roll 3d6. I think that's a 6. I don't know why I did it from the previous.
That's a
All right.
That is so okay. So you have 3 links, and Misha, how would you like to distribute the 3 links between your characters?
Ah, I think you've been a bit overeager and showed your hand a bit too much. So I think I have 2 links on you, and you have one on me.
That sounds good.
Excellent, excellent.
All right. All right. So I'm going to take. I mean, for what it's worth, the more I have on you, the more I can help you with things. But I'm happy to. All right. Why can I not find things?
It's right above personal advantages.
There we go. Okay. 1 and you've got 2 on me. Oh no,
Nice,
you
nice.
don't have.
You
already did it. Okay, excellent. And like, Eloise is visibly annoyed. She's like, I was never as good at being savage as you, but she like turns to one of the children. She's like, your parents died, right? That's why you're here. How would you like to talk to them one more time? And then like we cut away because I could just do that. I could talk to the dead. So just like teasing children with talking to their dead parents. Because I'm fucking bored. Like let's do the thing. I'm not bored. I'm excited. I just Eloise.
Yeah, Eloise is antsy. I understand.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. That's my scene. That's
awesome. I love that so much. Yeah, I think before we cut to another interlude action, I want to play out what happens between the child and the obsidian skeleton from our bargain earlier.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
I
left the child out just so you could do that. I was like, child's not with me right now.
We're like psychically linked. Yeah, so I think there's what does the what is the vibe of the House of Blood and Bone in terms of its estates and like how it appears to others?
I think the exterior is all like meant to intimidate people. It's all like spikes and doom and gloom, and like we've got like three grays and blacks in our color palette, and it's just very like it's very freaking it's very like Batman, right? And then the moment you get in, it's like there's music playing and there's red velvet and there's all this luxury and whatnot. Like it's just this big front to be all scary. Like there's all these soldiers dressed in, in these dark hues. But the moment you get in, I feel very like Hades like in what the bone, like we have like all the riches that, they say you can't take it with you. It's because we get it. Like you can't take it with you. Yeah, no, someone gets it. We get it. You don't get it. You die. We get your stuff. So I think there's just lots and lots of wealth, and there's dumb like levels of filigree and detail and whatnot. So there's a big harpsichord that's made that has like human bones for the keys, and so it's like Trump and Addams Family mixed together, if that makes any sense. Like
that's a disturbing.
Oh my god, my soul just left my body for a second.
Are we the bad guys? Fellas, are we the bad guys here?
I mean, the House of Blood and Bone is definitely the bad guys. Like 100%. I don't think my house is the good guys at all.
That's amazing.
I love it so much. Yeah. So I think like when the child arrives, right? Like when the child, before the child even like approaches the doors, they like swing wide open. And then there are all these like skeletal hounds that like come to like greet the child, right? And the child's eyes are always just like a little vacant. You always feel like the child is not completely here in the world and connected to what's going around. Like it's that lack of that spark, right? The lack of that magic, right?
Yeah.
They're always just a little disconnected.
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, from everything. And so the child reaches out with like one hand towards the skeletal hound, sort of like attempting to pet them. But the other one is always holding this like useless scepter, right? Like there's nothing that the scepter can do. There is no power to it, but it was meant to have power.
Yeah.
And for that reason alone, the child cannot let go of it, right? And we cut to like we realize that the child isn't completely aware of what's happening. Like they just step towards the center of the room, and the next moment they're outside of the room of the elder of the obsidian skeleton, right? And this is full on Trump undead lush, right? So there's like this is like a crypt that's like covered in gold and red velvet and way too many fucking candles. Surely it's magic because nothing has burned down by now, like because it absolutely would have, right? And so there are like puddles of wax everywhere, and there's just always this like sound of like grinding teeth and bones, right? And so the child steps forward again and is suddenly in front of the elder, like within the crypt. And there are all these other huge skeletons. Like these skeletons are like 12 feet tall, right? And all laid out in different forms of repose in their huge coffins or huge crypts, right? This is a completely different energy from the cemetery that Ida and Mutakad were at, right? Like that one was really like a place of reflection and rest. This is just the ungrateful dead, right? That is the complete vibe, right? And you hear the huge skeleton say, "We are unhappy with the trajectory of the House of Blood and Bone," right? And you realize these are all the previous elders because the fucking elders don't die; they just stop being elders for a while, right? As the new one comes into being. And the obsidian skeleton is like just listening as the former elders like fight amongst themselves. But when the child comes close, the obsidian skeleton like raises a hand and says, "Ah, I can smell it." And they like lift up their skull. Yes. Yes. What has Eloise seen and heard today? I wonder. And like when the obsidian skeleton reaches out, the arm is just so incredibly long, like it unfolds longer than it should be, and like places a hand. Once again, it's like mirroring what Ida did with Mutakad earlier, but there's a possessiveness about it, right? And I remember like Sean, you had a very specific like idea, right, for how this will like play out. What are you seeing here?
Yeah, so I think it's like a bit of I have this view of like consuming some part of the child to learn from them. So um I think it's like as they touch the child, it's like the bit of the child's cheek sort of starts petrifying, turning to stone, and then they run their fingers, and the dust and the stone kind of crumbles into dust, and like as they recoil back, we can see the dust on their fingertips as they as this petrified skin. I don't know, bits. It's just dust. We don't need to go into details. And then they inhale this sort of dust, and as they do so, see the experience of the child. That was my vision. If that sounds cool to you, I don't know.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I think it plays out the same thing, but like really haphazardly. Like it's not sequence in time, right? And that's when we also sort of realize that the child doesn't experience time the same way everyone else does, right? And so for everyone else, it's a fairly linear thing, but there's a part of the child that is always in the past of what the potential that could have been, and there is a part of the child that is always in the future, standing in the ashes of annihilation, right? And so in this moment, like as it plays out what the child witnessed, like the child's eyes go blank as the child goes into this very deep sleep. So the child really is not aware of what's going on and how the elder is using the child to get this information. And then we just cut to the obsidian skeleton watching all of this, and like there's a moment when the candles flicker and turn dark, and the elder says, this information is never quite what I want it to be. There's too much love, and there's too much hope when looking upon the parent. Unhelpful, but I will get what I can from this. And the scene goes dark.
Dig it.
All right. Okay, so I'd love to check in on maybe we can check in on Ida. Like, what do we see? What's your second interlude action, basically?
I think I would like to seek intrigue. Sorry. With Kavar.
Ooh, nice. The circle is complete.
Intrigue it up. Yeah, we all need links on each other. This is good.
Yeah, it's super helpful. It's very nice. But yeah. Okay, so would you like to let Kavar set the circumstances, or did you have something in mind?
I'm cool with that.
Yeah?
Okay. Ooh, okay, I have an idea. I think this is happening at the actual like the physical house of Sword and Halo, like our actual like where we live, like where the nobles reside, and I think it's heaven. So I think it's up in the like literal. I think it's a literal form of heaven up in the clouds.
I love Rita's reaction, like heaven.
Sword and Halo, yeah. It's
you brought me to an orphanage. This is what you get.
It's at the top of a mountain.
Deliciously awkward.
Stoops awkward.
It's at the very top of a mountain, very like Olympus style, and
Okay.
I think the peak of the mountain disappears into cloud cover, and eventually like the rugged mountainous terrain turns into like, you're not sure when it happens, but it turns into like a staircase, like a flight of steps that eventually turn from like roughly hewn rock into smooth like black marble, and eventually the marble like breaks yet another like layer of thick clouds, and we enter like the sprawling palatial complex of the House of Sword and Halo. There are various like outdoor verandas, there are gardens, there are these, it's like this beautiful like estate, all glimmering gold and white and black marble struck through with like veins of obsidian and alabaster, right? And I think the central main gates of heaven into the House of Sword and Halo are used to be like these huge, tall, proud gates. Let's just take from Greek mythology. One side of the gate is chiseled from horn, the other is chiseled from ivory. But they've since cracked. Ever since heaven was taken over centuries ago, the gates have always hung open off their hinges and have never been able to be repaired, even by the most skilled craftspeople. And beyond this gate is like the House of Sword and Halo proper. And I think there are plenty of nobles from other houses who mill about here, like allies, uneasy rivals, etc. Right? Like the House of Sword and Halo always prides itself on being able to host guests. Like that's seen as like part of like what makes them powerful, because you know, like they like flaunting their wealth, as touched by gold and dust as it may be. And I think you will find Kavar in one of the like domed open air corridors. So there's sort of like jali or like stone lattice like perforations in the walls, sort of like you might find at like architecture in like India, for instance, and to like sort of allow like breeze to come in and out. So even though you're indoors, you're also kind of outdoors a little bit. You'll find Kavar. She will have just like slammed open a door and like stormed out of a room, leaving behind like a bunch of like papers fluttering in the wind. And behind her, we will see her half brother, I think. the Chalcedonia, the Kingseeker, who is Kavar's cunning, ambitious half-brother, also the pride and joy and apple of father mother's eye. He is, I think, got this like pale skin, but it's kind of always concealed underneath like this beautiful golden paunchy kind of suit, almost like a masquerade suit that you might see at like a Venetian fair. And he has this like kind of like pale alabaster opera mask on at all times, like no one's ever seen his true face, with these like long peacock like feathers raking back and up past his skull. And his hands are painted gold, not gloved, like they've been dipped in molten gold and taken out and left to set. And Chalcedonia is sort of like behind his desk and is saying, I'll let like Ray play him and like have him say whatever. But Kavar's storming out angrily with her bodyguard Ostra by her side at all times.
Yeah, I think what you hear is Chalcedonia said, "A pleasure as always, my dear sister. Until next time."
Eat glass and live. And she like turns the corner and lets the door slam shut behind her.
And like there's this unfortunate like laughter that follows. Like you can tell he really enjoyed this, right?
Yeah.
Like
Can there be, I feel like your father, mother must have some sort of like ceremony, ritual, party that's coming up, some sort of like awkward social obligation that you're supposed to be at that Chalcedonia can remind you of, like, remember, dinner at 7, that's sort of like...
I hate this family.
Oh my God. And he's going to be like, I'm going to send you a dress with a proper top, my dear.
I'm the only proper top I need, Chalcedonia. I just have comebacks galore.
So good.
I think I'm guessing you're storming back to your actual rooms.
I'm Kavar storming, making a beeline for, Ostra would know this, the training grounds, which is where Kavar goes to vent frustration. That or her pleasure palace, but today she feels like beating something up.
So I think
kind of beating something up,
I think you find when you arrive there, it is standing off to the side, like looking at the swords that are like lined up in the racks along the sides of the training grounds. And she turns and sees you kind of scowling, which, kind of is a normal look for you, so she's not surprised. But she cocks a brow. You look like someone who has been having a fight with their family.
Kavar turns. She was in the middle of receiving her, let's say her long, I think she wields a glaive. So like a really long, like almost like a halberd like situation, but instead of a heavy axe head, it's like almost like a naginata, like a really like a curved heavy like blade thing. I don't know why I'm mansplaining what a glaive is. We all know what a glaive is. So she's like,
yeah, good.
Tell me, is it a glaive Gajmir? Is it? Tell me what. I need the subtype of glaive, please.
I don't know. I don't know enough about glaives actually to actually talk about what it is. But I think it's like a big, heavy polearm. She's in the middle of like accepting it from Ostra when she turns to look at you, Ada. Oh. To what do I owe the pleasure of a visit from the Silken Shard?
Oh, nothing much. Just seeing what's going on. It's been ages since we actually had a chance to chat.
I was always under the assumption that the House of Glass and Clay doesn't calculate time like the rest of us do. Has it been ages? Or has it just been yesterday for you?
Yes and no.
Talk to me. And Kavar's gonna start wailing on a dummy. And I think these dummies are like, they're not like stray or clay dummies or whatever. They're like built to last. They're built to like tank and like take hits. They're like made with like divine craftsmanship. But she like swings her glaive down and just completely bisects one. But as soon as like the top pops off, like magic causes it to like reseal itself. So it can take as many hits as needed.
Well, I just came to see if you knew what the House of Bone and Blood was up to.
I'm gonna hear about it, Misha. She
I
can't. All secrets are coming back to me. I've got lists.
You think she doesn't know this?
And why are you so keenly interested in the obsidian skeleton's domain?
Oh, I'm not so much interested in his domain as his minions. They're fascinating, really.
Any minion in particular strike your fancy? I've heard that the commander of the Legion of the Dead is always looking for new playthings. Do you fancy yourself a licker of boots?
Ugh, no. Boots are gross.
Elegantly spoken.
Well, I mean, they're good for wearing and they're good for protecting your legs, but not so much for licking. It's not a foot
You'd be
fetish,
surprised the kinds of fetishes I indulge in my palace.
I'm sure you do, darling. I believe the phrase is, your kink is not my kink.
Very well. Then whom are you seeking?
I'm not seeking anyone. I'm just asking what you know.
There's a pause as Kavar takes a breather, right? As the dummy sutures its broken limbs together. And she says, after a poignant pause, I know not of what you speak. The machinations of the House of Blood and Bone are obscured to me. Which is, of course, a lie, because Eloise did just come to her earlier that day.
Love it. Love it.
Are you seriously telling me you know nothing? I'm so disappointed.
Darling,
Thought better of you. You usually know
you don't
everything.
knock on people's houses asking for entrance without a gift.
Oh, did I forget to give you the gift I brought for you? Silly me. Linear time. So odd. I thought I had already given it to you. And she reaches into her pocket and pulls out it's an orb. Just an orb.
An orb.
An orb.
Entice me with an orb. Nice.
So I was at an orphanage recently. You've heard of these, right? They're these places where they keep children whose parents are no longer alive, but they still have dreams and memories and thoughts.
What the children do?
Yes.
And the parents. Sorry.
I don't understand this mortal impulse to protect and hold on to things that can't carve out their own space in the world.
Well, I think the children have to grow up before their brains are big enough to actually do any carving.
I do understand that aspect of mortal lineage. It's an investment.
Yes.
I see. Yes, I am aware of this orphanage of which you speak. What is that orb?
Well, I mean, children forget things all the time. But do they really? And she just hands you the orb.
I actually jerk my head toward Astra and let her be the intermediary to take the orb in my stead.
Sure.
And look at it.
Yeah, I think it happens automatically. As you step back, Astra steps forward like a dance, right? Astra knows you that well, of course. And Astra says, yes, of course. I wanted to double check, Kavar. Are you referred to as Lord, Lady, or is there something else?
Lord is good. Lord is
Okay.
good for Kavar. Yeah.
Okay. And then so Astra says, my lord, of course, is grateful for the gift, but Astra takes it, right? And unflinchingly, right? Astra's
yeah,
ready
it's not gonna hurt her.
But Astra
If
takes
she
it.
wanted to hurt anybody, they'd never see it coming.
True.
I look over at Astra to see if she can discern what exactly is inside the orb. Like, if it will be of any interest to me.
Ooh. Yeah. I think like we see like because Astra has like this one lock of white hair, and as like Astra like discerns and looks closer at it, like more and more of the hair starts to turn white, right? Like strand by strand until the depending on how much power she exerts, right, in the observation. So for now it's like just several locks have turned white. Yeah, so Ida, what is it that Astra sees? And I want to say ponders the orb. I'm going to resist. So
Yeah,
Are you
ponders
pondering what I'm pondering?
Ada's orb.
So it's things that children forget. So the taste of their first strawberry, the teddy bear they played with when they were small but haven't lost and don't remember where it was. So it's like 5 or 6 little things like that are trapped inside the orb.
yeah, and I think there's one that's of particular interest, right? When Astra like sees it, she stops and she says, "My lord, I think you should see this." Right? And Astra brings it close, and you can see like one of the children is like being tucked into bed, and like you can see like there's a strange like golden hand that comes and like tucks the child in, and unmistakably you hear Chalcedonia's voice like talking to the child before the memory starts to fade.
In like a sweet way, in like a I love this child. Oh, okay. Yeah. And do I get the sense that if I took this orb, I'd be able to like dig into that memory and parse it open? Okay.
Yeah, like Blade Runner style, where you can go
Yeah.
into the memory and get more information. Yes.
Oh, totally. Okay. Then in that case, Kavar nods at Astra for her to like palm it completely and like accept the payment, basically. And as Astra like slips it into her cloak, Kavar's gonna turn back to address Ada. Eloise is preoccupied with the child. I believe she thinks that child is the key to her house's continued life after inevitable death, perhaps.
That would explain a few things.
I also sense that she's desperate. Her attachment to the child makes her weak. It's only a matter of time before the House of Blood and Bone sees it and either caves to her weakness or destroys her for it.
Question is, which side do we want to be on?
Ooh. What are the rules for starting a scheme against one of the players' houses?
No, it's totally fine.
Fair game?
It's fair game.
I don't know if I want to enable PvP yet. I don't know.
I mean, I offered it in the scene with Ida. I was like, which house you want? It can be mine. I mean, Eloise has a weird history with House of Blood and Bone. You know, that's not her original home. She's been appointed to this role after there was a coup of the House of Ash and Flame. So, her loyalties are definitely suspect.
And we all know that, right? Like, we all know that you were punished.
I think it's an open secret. Oh, yeah. We all know that I'm banished, and it's this weird thing of, like, what chain does the obsidian skeleton have around her throat that keeps her loyal? Because she doesn't have any good reason to be loyal, and yet the skeleton has given her this role, the mantle of the secret keeper. So
was she banished or stolen?
She was There, I think she was taken hostage. She was taken in a big battle. She was a prisoner of war.
Mhm.
And it was Ash and Flame that you were taken from, right?
Yeah.
And Ash and Flame is like dead now. It like doesn't exist
No,
anymore.
they're not dead.
No,
they're
They're just really
smaller.
weak.
They're
right?
weak.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
and everybody knows, like, it's one of those things where, like, when nobles fight with each other, you know, like, and someone like secedes someone else's land, they still have to interact. So House of Ash and Flame still exists, but of course they have a big, huge chip on their shoulder. But she's not exactly welcome home at this point. But
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, go for it. I mean, I think I'm excited about any house we're interested in taking down.
I think Blood and Bone could be really cool. Chooses one inevitably. Oh, cool. Embrace of Death. I'm just like looking at the things that we could get out of guiding Blood and Bone to annihilation to see like what Kavar would be motivated by. Reincarnation Corrupted. Oh, interesting. A vessel to house a soul. Ooh, that could be useful. I have an idea. Okay. Okay. Kavar turns to Ada, and like a smirk comes over her cold lips, and she says, "Perhaps it could be fun to watch the house of Blood and Bone break its marrow open and bleed."
Sounds delightful.
You stink of death. Did Eloise pay a visit? Or does my nose lie to me?
I've seen Eloise recently. I think.
And is she cut in on this deal? Or is she a lamb led to slaughter?
I would never consider Eloise a lamb. But I don't
A
think
lion,
she's in
then.
on it.
Poached.
I think if we could return the prodigal to their house, it could be interesting.
The house of Ash and Flame has historically nipped at my house's heels. I would help you on the condition that after the house of Blood and Bone falls, we come for Ash and Flame next.
Why not set them at cross purposes and kill two birds with one stone?
And does Eloise know that's your plan?
No.
Very well. Then, at the crucial moment, I'll distract her.
I'm sure we shall both know when that moment is.
It will be very obvious.
So are you gonna go and beat on that thing some more? I think it's all healed up.
And I think Kavar just hawks like the glaive over her shoulder and throws it at the dummy and just shatters it as it like goes through like the center of its heart, and the glaive spears thucks into the earth behind it. And this time the dummy doesn't reform.
I think you broke it.
A servant will repair it. Come on, Astra. We have a dinner to get to. Now, is there anything else I can help you with, Ada?
I think we're quite finished. Enjoy your dinner with your family.
Oh, I will.
Such a fun word.
And Kavar's eyes will like linger on the orb. That's like the Astra's holding on to. I will enjoy this dinner.
Excellent. So, what action do you think that was for Ida? I feel like it was very concealy, but what do you think?
Yeah, probably. She wasn't demanding anything. She wasn't defying. She wasn't really enticing. Concealy, yeah.
Because like I feel like we still don't know what Ida's like real intentions are, right? So it's very interesting.
You're assuming I know what I real intentions are.
Right. I feel like I put you in a tough spot when I'm like, so Misha, who does your character want to destroy? And you're like, I don't know.
All right.
Excellent,
so-
excellent. So it's 2 dots. I'm happy to offer a bargain if you want to, or
3 because Kavar set the stage.
that's right. That is correct.
Yep.
Mhm.
I think Kavar technically set boundaries with you, I think.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm,
so you can mark XP for that.
Okay.
mhm.
A 5.
Ooh, nice. Okay, so on a 5, we have 2 links. And Kavar, how would you like to split the links between the 2 of you?
One and one, I think. We each get one.
All right.
Nice, nice, nice. Okay. Excellent, excellent. All right, so how many interlude actions have we had so far with the second round? We've had
This is the second of the second round. I think Kavar still has to set one.
nice. Okay.
Well, and technically, Kavar, you got a free one. With
Technically,
one.
I get
Oh,
two.
yeah, you do.
You got to
Yeah,
knock
It's
out 2 of them.
powerful.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
So what would you
All
like
right.
to do with your second or third?
I'll bang out 2 real fast. The first one I'll try to make faster, which will be a long-term project again. I think. Oh, okay, yeah. I think it's gonna be the door. I'm gonna work on the door. And I think
Let's do it.
Clearly.
Yep. We don't have to like do a super long scene with this, but she's gonna go back to Henrika, and try to entice Henrika again. This time, not with not with the dreams, but with the orb. She was given by Ada after she's already looked through the orb. So should I look through the orb first, actually, before?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Let's have a scene where you look through it. I think like as you study it, right? Ooh, are you gonna do it yourself?
gather
Oh, yeah, I was about to say.
I was
Does
just
that count
I
as
was just-
gather information? Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like that would be a good. If you didn't have another down, I'm actually really thrilled about that. Seems like a good
Mhm.
way to use that.
Yeah.
I'm into that. If you think that's appropriate, Ray.
Yeah, 100%. Right. So looking at your house wisdom questions, which one do you want to apply here to the who seeks redemption? What violence has been hidden? What did the dead gods whisper of? And you can always make up a new one that's kind of just in this vein, right? So
I like what violence has been hidden. For like, I want to just say like skirting. I don't want Chalcedonia to be abusing this kid, but I think like could be acting as a protector or something. Yeah, or whatever.
100%.
There's violence involved.
Yeah, perfect.
Or is the reason the kid's orphaned, or something.
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that. Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so are you going to be seeking out the information yourself, or are you going to be using like Astra? Like, what action do you think this looks like?
Ooh, I think I will retreat to my bed chambers, and Astra will be there with me, like my office / bed space. I sleep on a bed of like clouds and feathers, and, like it floats above like a pit of like ambrosia, very heaven-like. But there's dust everywhere, and all the walls are cracked. It's like very much heaven gone to seed. And Kavar is gonna set this orb like down in the center of the room, use magic to suspend it, and start to pull threads of memories from it, sort of like holograms coming out, like a very Tony Stark Jarvis moment. But it's trying to pull on that specific memory they saw of their half brother and like expand it.
Ooh, that sounds like a tune. So let me describe a tune. When you
Oh,
tune,
God.
you connect, listen to, or remember magic. You may reach out to magical energies and listen to their wisdom, draw on power from a ritual artifact, or create a magical beacon or signal. Right. So it feels
Ooh,
kind of.
I actually have a
tune.
pip in a tune.
You
Yeah.
do. You do.
I do.
Right. So that's already
I do.
one. Would you like me to offer you a bargain, perhaps?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Would you like a curse bargain, so one of hubris, or would you like a house bargain?
Curse.
Nice. I think it's perfect for this moment. So the curse bargain I have to offer you is I think you're going to go in a little too deep. You know that your magic is strong enough. Like, not only will you be able to like take apart this memory and see more of your brother, but I think you're going to get more information that you normally would, but in your hubris, like your brother will know that you're watching, right? Like he
Great.
won't know exactly what you saw, or like, but there'll be a sense of like, what is that bitch up to? Like that kind of
that like tingle, that like
yeah.
like what?
Like when
Um,
someone walks in your grave kind of situation.
Ray
Sure,
can-
into
Ray
it. So he'll get
can-
he'll get suspicious. Okay, into that.
You were saying, Sean, sorry.
Can people assist each other in things? And can we
Oh,
can we take corruption to assist?
Of course. Yes, yes, yes.
I think little flashback to our earlier scene um, uh, in in the city of doors when we were looking when we were traveling along and no, I think it's actually in your court. Remember when one of my entourage like took a bite out of your apple and it like turned to dust? Later, there's a moment where Eloise kind of like licks her lips and says and she sort of tells the story of like where this fruit came from and like how the story of like how it's fallen, and essentially anything she consumes she knows all about it, and that includes her entourage, whatnot. And I think you could consume these and make these I think she might have revealed to you the way that she consumes knowledge and like delves into it. So if you would like, I'm happy to spend a bit of corruption and just like show you her method of consuming things, which definitely does not make you kind of psychotic as like you get all of these memories that you can't distinguish between others and your own. Like that's definitely not a problem.
Oh, that totally won't happen. That's totally not a risk.
But yes, I just like the all consumer kind of giving her secrets away if you're into it.
I'm super into it. Yeah,
Awesome.
into it.
Awesome.
Into it.
So I'm gonna mark
yeah.
corruption. I think is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Right?
that's right.
And you get an extra die.
Perfect.
So that's 3 total.
Yes.
Let's roll, baby. Okay, that's a 3. 3, 2. What is going on?
All the dice in the world, and they still betray you guys.
I've rolled 3d6 2 times, and I have not gone higher than a 4. That's fine. A 3.
Oh my gosh. So you still get the question, you still get an answer. So it's not too bad. There are ways to like improve the roll, but I don't think it's necessarily worth it here for your resources. Because you'll still get an answer for sure. And you'll still get a personal advantage. All right. So and like I think like part of it is you can sense you're so eager, right? Like you can see the orb starting to crack as you like pull it apart. And there's a moment where we see Astra like step forward, reaching a hand out, but then she pulls back because she would never like presume it's not her place, right? But just watches you. And so we cut back once again to that boy being tucked into bed, and we see your brother. And what's really shocking is we see the golden hands, right? And like Kavar can see this, but the audience cannot, right? But Kavar can see that your brother does not have his mask on, right? And so there's a part where the child reaches out and like places both hands on the face and says, "It's my fault that you got hurt, isn't it? It's my fault that you look like this now." And your brother says, "Do not worry. Angels were not meant to be beautiful. We were not meant to be looked upon, my love." And your brother, like, there's so much love, right? As like he like caresses the child's hair and he says, "Do not worry. The scars that I will leave on others, the violence that I will enact in the name of heaven, all of this to protect you." And your brother says, "I have already taken the spark from the princeling of the void. I can take so much more.
Okay. I immediately turn to Astra as this plays out and I say, bring me the child.
And Astra nods and says, "It will be done, my lord."
Can this just for funsies be the child that I was like, so kiddo, do you want to talk to your parents in the orphanage?
100%. It's the same child. Yes, yes.
Oh my god. My half brother like has a bastard? What is happening? Ah! Okay, I love that. I'm into it.
A human bastard, no less.
I know. Ooh, is the temporary advantage I get the child?
Yes, let's do it.
Right?
I mean,
We need-
I want to check in. If people are okay with that, but I want to say yes.
We need to distinguish the child from the child from the child lowercase
We need to
from
name
the
him.
child uppercase, right?
Oh,
We gotta name
My
the
child
kid.
doesn't get to be named.
Yes. We have to name the child. Yeah. So we'll say like your brother Chalcedonia says the name. Chalcedonia is a kind of gem, right? So how about Jasper?
Yeah, that's a good one. Jasper. Oh, I have a kid as a hostage. That's lovely. I'm not gonna hurt him. He'll have a gilded cage, but it'll be such leverage. Such leverage.
See this
Okay.
game where people are like, "Are we the bad guys?"
Oh, we're super the bad guys.
Just some kidnapping.
Hello.
Literal kidnapping. It's fine. Okay, that's one of my interlude actions, and I have one last one. I think.
Right. And so you're gonna give the orb, right? Like what remains
Yes,
of it to
I'm gonna give the
Henrika.
orb to Henrika.
Mhm.
I bequeath it upon her, and I'm gonna try to I'm gonna sell it. I'm gonna try to entice her. I'm gonna sell it to her a little bit, like
Nice.
yeah, like Henrika, darling, I come bearing gifts yet again.
2 visits in 1 day. Indeed, I am cursed. I mean blessed, my lord.
Oh, your sense of humor is as exquisite as you are. This is a chalice of memories taken from the minds of mortal children, an exquisite romp through touchstones they've since forgotten. Don't mind the crack.
And Enrique like looks at the crack, looks at you, and says, "I don't mind sloppy seconds from time to time, my lord." And there's like a
Well-
suggestive quality.
Sure. To sweeten the pot, I could carve out some personal time for you at the Pleasure Palace.
Oh, well, I would never come there. I would never be there tonight after midnight. Of course not. You would never find me there with the red sash waiting and ready. Simply will never happen, she says.
Certainly, and I will not prepare a private room for you.
Of course. So let's see that roll. Let's see how it goes.
Ooh, okay, entice. I've got 2 pips, so that's 2 dice.
Yes.
Do I want to play with fire? I want to get a 3rd dice. I want to get a 3rd die.
Yeah,
I want
I
to take
can
a
do
bargain.
a bargain. Of course. That's what I'm here for. They're unlimited bargains. Would you like one of hubris again? I think it's
Yeah,
quite
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
I'm gonna say that the more you interact with Enrique, like she's also using you in a way to gain more power. She's already the administrator of doors, right? But you know that she's going to use this attention you've been showing her to like help her gain more power with other factions of the city.
Okay, I'm sure that won't bite me in the butt later. I will take it.
No.
I will take it. So that's 3 die. Come on. I will be rolling a total of 9 dice this session, okay? It's a 2. Come on.
1.
Come on.
What happened? I didn't see it.
It's another 2.
So,
Are you serious?
It's a
2,
2-1-2.
2, 1.
I do not understand the rhyme or reason of like where these dice are going or what is
I don't
happening.
either.
Like they're just
It makes no
appearing.
sense.
I'm
They're
gonna
just-
burn
Some of
the
them are
room.
blue.
Like chat,
Well,
check
see,
this
I
out.
changed
Like,
mine to blue so that I could tell mine apart from everybody else.
oh, smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
2-1-2. Okay.
I suggest using the die roller at the very top where it says Control / and you can just type in 2d6, 3d6, and then hit enter, and then at least
They'll
you
be
could
together?
at least it clumps them.
Ugh.
Possibly.
Do
Maybe
we
that
wanna-
affects the randomizing aspect
Yeah,
of it.
I don't mind you trying that.
You know what? When the DM takes pity on you, I will take it. I will take
Right.
it. Do I?
So
do I roll
before you do,
3d6?
over on the top right hand side, there's a box that's pink.
Oh, let me change
the
my
color there
Yeah,
so we know yours.
I'll make it
Yeah.
red. Yeah, I'll make it
Nice,
red.
nice, nice.
All right.
Cool. Also
Thank
good
you
thing.
for this. If I need to pay a price for this, I will. I will to make it fair. All right, let's go. Okay, 4s are not
Much
bad.
better.
All right. Okay, that's better.
It
Yeah,
still just
yeah.
threw them in the most random place,
It
but
did.
at least it put them together.
Yeah. Oh, look, you can move them.
Huh?
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
wow.
And you can re-roll them if you like. So,
Oh,
but
that's
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Okay.
So,
We're just
If I have to
Yeah,
mark
I-
corruption for that, I will. Like,
no, it's okay. Don't
to every, I'm fine with that actually.
no,
but-
no. Totally fine. Totally fine. So with a 2 segments.
Awesome. 2 segments. Perfect.
Nice. Very good. Very good. Yeah. So that means you're already like halfway, right?
I am. I'm at 4 out of 6. Hell yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. You'll be able to do it. Okay, I'm not gonna jinx it. Anyway, soon. I'm just gonna say soon.
I think it's 8 though, right? It was.
Yes.
total.
Yes. But yeah, perfect. All right. And so I think, is that everybody's interlude actions? Is that correct? Okay, so what we're going to do next is I will roll for the Clock of Ruin to see it move forward. Right. So we'll see. I think we get like a quick shot, like as this happens. Ooh, I think there's a moment when we see the chalice, this orb, and the crack, and then we focus on the crack, and it comes to the crack of the shattered one who's in front of the Clock of Ruin, and the shattered one says, "And time moves forward. There is no escaping annihilation." So at the end of each interlude and scheme, the GM makes a ruin roll to move the Clock of Ruin towards annihilation. The GM always starts with 1d. So did at least one noble bring another closer to their ruin? I think we saw that happen. So I think people were enticing, like, especially when Eloise was like, "Who do you want to destroy?"
Yeah. Well, and also you're talking about like tricking Eloise and destroying both her houses, and yeah, I feel like I think that definitely happened.
Yeah. Okay, so we have 2d. Did at least one noble ensure something from a house will survive the end of days? I didn't quite get that vibe yet.
Not yet.
Right?
No.
Yeah,
I think
no
we're
worries.
working on that. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're working on it. I think
I don't
think
Kamar
we
and
ensured
Eloise
it.
are. But
Yeah.
not yet.
Ooh, maybe I should like reword that instead of ensure. Like, we're okay. Think about it.
Yeah.
So, did at least one noble engage in intimacy that will make the final days bittersweet? I think we did see that between Ida and Mutakad, and also like Kavar, and like, so
Yeah, sure.
yeah. So 1, 2, 3 dice to roll with. Okay, I will. So
High
let me
rollers.
Yeah. We got this. I'm gonna. Okay, I'll make mine like this tan color, right?
Sure.
Yeah, 3d6. Highest is a 4. All right, which is good because the other one is a 1 and a 2.
Yeah. I feel like this dice roller is broken. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna burn the dice room. We're gonna have a new dice room.
Nicer than most dice rollers are to me. So
All right.
Okay, so basically on on a 4, what happens is the clock ticks forward twice. Okay. Ooh, we just stopped right before our house is consumed by the curse. Whew. Yeah, so if we didn't have that extra die, we would have definitely had one house fall immediately.
Yeah.
So
See, this
Like,
one
even before
saying
a
we
scheme.
got to get on it. We got to.
Yeah.
This is
yeah,
why
yeah.
Eloise is like, I know the future. It's doomed. Let's scavenge this house before it is.
I
before it
am
falls.
all for destroying House of Blood and Bone, but Kavar really wants to also destroy Ash and Flame, so
Yeah.
Eloise will be free, but also have no home.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think
That's what I'm going
Eloise
for.
will have feels about that, and I'm excited.
I want
see how
to
those
unlock
go.
those feels.
We like
but it
feels.
hinges on
Feels
Ada.
are good. Feels are great.
Yeah.
Bring me more feels.
Excellent. So, but we stopped right before, so our house isn't destroyed just yet, not consumed by the curse
Nice.
just yet. But so this is a good time for me to ask. We'll set up the next scheme, right? So, which house do we want to target?
I think it's Blood and Bone. I think
Blood and
that's-
Bone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. So, as your GM, would we like to have a more social scheme? Do we want like a more like heisty one? Like, because the game can really accommodate like any kind of like situation we have in mind. Yeah.
Feel like we want. Well, so I think there's a little bit of interstitial where we need to get Eloise on board, because I, as a player, am not against it, but I think Eloise was kind of seeking that out and didn't receive that in the last session. So, but assuming prefacing that we've gotten Eloise on board, and maybe we make that a scene at the beginning of the next episode,
Mhm.
or not. I think she would encourage you to use to pit the elders against each other and like make them self-destruct. Like they're already cackling old hags who like want to like or at each other's throats. Like all we need to do is like fuel that fire,
Pit them.
and they'll self-destruct.
I have an idea for that. And I want this to be, I really want it to be a social one. I have an idea for how Kavar would want to kill two birds with one stone is throw a party that invites Blood and Bone and maybe the rest of the houses too. And there, like, pit the elders against each other, destroy Blood and Bone, but also destroy Ash and Flame. And like use like the chaos of the party and like the miasma of stuff happening to disguise what's going on. But that's my pitch.
I mean, and if there's a few well-placed assassinations in there to, make it
Yeah.
to lubricate that
Well,
social
we already knew there was going to be some big social event that you were
The
supposed
party.
to.
Yeah.
right?
Party.
Oh.
A ball.
Yeah.
Ball for all the
Yeah.
houses.
Yeah. Yeah, let's just have it take place at the same time, right? I love that. That's so cool. Yeah. Okay, so also now that you've like felt out your character and stuff, do we feel ready to create an ambition, right? That will break down into like several agendas for you. So basically on your character sheet, we see ambition, and then the agenda breaks it down into like 3 clocks, right? And at the end of every scheme, you get to have this really dramatic moment where I flash back and show how during this whole scheme, I was working towards my ambition the whole time, right? So it's like a built-in moment. So you don't technically have to worry about it during the scheme because your noble's doing it without you realizing it, right? And then we just flash back later to that moment.
How would because the ambition I currently have, I can change it, is exactly the same as my long-term goal, which has a separate clock. So should I change my ambition or should I tie those clocks together?
What do you think about, like, I feel like for Kavar, the way that you've been playing her, like, what if you wanted to take control of the Harbingers, right? Because you have the door, right?
Yeah.
Right? Maybe your whole ambition could be like, take control of the Harbingers for myself, right?
I like that. Yeah. And like the door is my side project, right? That I'm like, if this shit doesn't work out, I'm a jump ship. Like it's like my plan B, right? Because Kavar will always have a plan B. She passes out plan Bs at her play parties. And thanks for laughing, right? I like that.
I'm dying behind you.
Ray, no, go on. I was
just going to finish my thought. I was also thinking it could have to do with her relationship with Astra. If we wanted to go the tragic lovers route.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's also true. Yeah. So we could combine these in interesting ways. So for example, let's say to claim the Harbingers for my own, one of the agendas could be install Astra as the lieutenant.
As like the leader
of the Harbingers.
To
ensure that she survives, right? Or we could make Astra the main one. And then one of the sub ones is to make sure the Harbingers like listen to Astra, right? This is very like flexible.
Cool.
Depending on
I'll workshop it now as Sean talks.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Ray, what tab? Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out.
It's okay. The character keeper is kind of a mess. It's no problem. You can click on my I think my face is showing. I'm not sure but I'm looking underneath your duty. Like you can type in your ambition and then the three agendas.
Duty. Aha, there it is. There it was. Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
Got
I
it.
promise the next character keeper is going to be easier to find.
No,
Ben is
I
working
mean,
very hard on it.
yeah.
Also, if it helps, clarify what the ambition could be, there are questions to guide you in the Throne of Annihilation. So it could be like your past demands it, your future promises it, a relationship like with Astra, or a lie, right? So, but yeah, I'm also here to help you workshop it.
Would an ambition count as a long-term project, or no? Are they
No,
like two
no.
separate subsystems? Okay.
Good question though.
Where are the questions on the Throne of Annihilation tab?
Yeah, so go to the Throne of Annihilation. Underneath, what tragedy is promised? There's some ideas for what your ambition could be. I remember
what
you had
tragedy is promised.
Yeah.
Humans are... Yeah, I want mine to be a lie.
So good.
Eloise, I don't know if this is too sad, dark, but anyway, Eloise is convinced that she can recreate the life she had before she was taken by Blood and Bone by consuming everyone who was there. And by taking all their memories, she can build her own sort of like mind palace where she can just live in her own memories. And she wants to sort of like turn inward in on herself and get to live her old life by just gobbling up everyone who was there, by consuming all the memories of the people that were there. So she wants to live a total lie, which is like, I want to pretend that of what happened, but it's still going on. So
I like that.
Does that make sense to create a world of her own imagination to live in?
Yeah, I feel like we could even like Mutakad like convinced you that this is the best way to make sure annihilation will serve you, right? Like by creating this illusion for yourself. Yeah, I like it. That's very cool. Misha, how are you feeling about Ida's ambition?
I think I'm trying to take the throne.
Yes!
I mean, if Mutakad loves me and is my beloved, then, surely he'll want to give it to me, right?
Of course. That's how love works.
Yeah, that sounds real good.
I love it so much. Right. And then the way that you break it down, you only need to have at least one in place for the next scheme, and then you can make up the rest as you like, or yeah. But it's all very basically the best way I would say is like what would interest you for your character, for them to pursue, what you would like them to see them do. This last agenda. Sorry.
Oh, mine.
Yeah.
I figure that'll be the hardest one.
It is. Astra's so devoted.
Yeah.
So devoted. Oh my god. Yeah.
I'm like securing a space, whatever, that's easy. Getting materials, maybe the materials are fun to collect. But like that's the one I really want.
Yeah.
Do the
agendas have to be it's a turn Astra Immortal. I'm so
listen.
Crying.
I love her. Do the agendas have to be fulfilled sequentially, or can we like?
Yeah, you can take them on at any order you like, right?
That's 18 ticks total that we have to do. Ooh.
Yeah. But surprisingly, it's doable. Like it does take like some luck, and I also threw in some throne boons so you can get like some free actions to move them forward faster. But yeah. Definitely part of the playtest because
Cool.
with some of the other thrones, like people finish their like ambitions several sessions before the end, right? And they had to come up with new stuff. So,
Oh wow.
yeah. So it can happen, right? But I honestly have to work out the math and stuff and the probabilities. But yeah, I'm so excited about these really sad like ambitions. I think what I love is like we got to see like the characters and then get to taking notes, taking playtest notes. But yeah, excellent.
All right, should we do end of session stuff?
Yeah. Yes. Sorry, I was going into game designer road. Oh, sorry. My brain started
No
going in
worries.
different directions. Okay,
We've
so
all been there.
right, exactly. I started like calculating. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do our XP stuff, right? So let's start with our characters. Mark 1 XP each if you brought into play your claim, domain, or duty, that's 1. Curse, weakness, or ambition, that's 2. And a relationship to your fellow nobles, your house, or your vassals. So yeah, I think let's start with Eloise. I feel like we definitely saw you bring your
I think we
all-
definitely saw. Yeah, I think we saw my claim and my duty. I mean, we saw a lot of like Eloise's framed in relationship to the House of Blood and Bone through most of this. So I feel like that is there. I think her ambition she laid out pretty clearly right at the beginning to both. In fact, I think she was like, I want to find a place for the child and also consume the other houses. And relationship with my fellow nobles, I think I had fun with that. My relationship with Kavar is very like supplicating. My relationship with Ida is very frank.
Yeah, I love that difference. Yeah.
And also that like I'm not trusted by my own house, which is weird. It's we'll have to figure out why they entrust me with such power and yet they don't trust me. I think we should find that out next time before I eat them because I'm going to eat them.
I feel like they've got something up their sleeves. I feel like they did that for a reason. I feel like you're the fall guy.
Oh, I think that's what. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I mean, my plans are real bad. I've seen my agendas, but they're all. I'm definitely the bad guy.
Perfect. Yeah. All right. So go ahead and take
this on the sheet.
So your weakness is the Rose Duelist. So it's next year. Yeah. Honestly, I feel like I should move that somewhere else, but yeah. Yeah. And then how about Connie for Kavar? I feel like we definitely saw all of these things come into play for you.
Yeah. So how would this experience allocation work?
Yeah. So you just mark 3 XP, 1 for each one. So because we definitely saw you in the City of Doors, we saw you struggle with your hubris, saw your relationship with the nobles for sure. So yeah, go ahead and mark 3 XP.
Awesome.
And then Misha, how about for Ida? I feel like
I think we definitely saw her duty as saboteur come up. I don't think curse, weakness, or ambition came up.
Right.
Well, your ambition is to take the throne.
Yeah, we had that.
We definitely saw you like buttering up.
I think so.
Okay,
I think so.
That
was a really good scene between the two of you.
Yeah.
And by good, I mean really gross on Mutakad's part.
Yeah. But you were playing along. Like you were playing a part. You did not recoil from Mutakad's advances. In fact,
Hey, look, when you're dealing with a crazy guy who has infinite power, you play along.
I can't wait for you to take it. Take that power. Anyway.
Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. So I think you definitely got the XP for that. And we got to see your relationship with your nobles for sure. So yeah. Okay. Perfect. And then for your house XP, So we don't have any promises yet, but those will come into play next time. But for House of Blood and Bone, did you bring about the death or rebirth of something precious?
Did I bring about the death or rebirth of something precious? I think I can retcon that to say yes. I think that Jasper. I think Jasper got to speak. I think probably with uh, his mother. I think that was the
Oh, nice.
that was the off screen because I can let the dead speak, and I offered it to him, and now I know it's precious. So it's a little meta right there. It's a little game and
That's
system.
okay.
I'll
That's
take it.
okay. Yeah. Perfect. I encourage it. So go ahead and mark XP for that. House of Sword and Halo. Did you cultivate the divinity in someone or punish the insolent?
I don't know if what I did counts as cultivating divinity or punishing the insolent. Well, I'm on my way to punishing the insolent of my half brother by kidnapping his kid. But
I feel
I don't know
like
if he
that's a
knows
pretty
that.
big
Does that count?
punishment. Yeah, I
Does that
think
count?
so.
Okay.
There,
Yeah.
I also-
you'd like to adopt him.
Kavar is not doesn't have a motherly bone in their body. So
Yeah.
You don't have to actually. I'm just saying, if you say you're there to adopt him as opposed to just kidnapping him, might be
depends on how
easier.
cool the kid is. Depends on how cool the kid is.
I like the kid. The kid didn't run when I did weird things. So
Now it makes sense because the kid is like half god or something, or
Yeah.
like has been. Yeah.
Ray, do we mark the XP in the same XP track, or is it?
Oh
is
no,
there
it's
a
under
XP?
House XP. Oops.
Where is
One
House
second.
XP?
My
On the
cat.
house tab at the very bottom.
Yeah. Sorry. 1 second. Oh my gosh. 1 second.
Ray's cat.
Okay, there we go. Got it now. Sorry.
I'm so sorry. Chasing was stepping over everything. Pulled out the StreamYard tab from the rest of the
Oh,
browser.
Buddy.
I was so worried.
funny.
I was like, "Oh my god, did he drop me out of the StreamYard?" Chassis.
Silly kitty.
Silly kitty. Okay, sorry. So you're asking about House XP is separate,
Got
or
it.
because the house actions and the abilities are like separate. So how much power you bring to your house, basically.
Can you keep doing that even if your house is destroyed? Does your house what happens?
I
if your house-
know. This is a very good question, which is what we're playtesting for. Yes.
Good.
So
Good.
because I'm thinking, and I'm glad we're gonna go after a PC house first. I was thinking in my mind, so good for playtesting.
Good. Yeah, we'll
I can't
figure
help
it
but
out.
think you have access. Anyway, we'll talk about it later.
I think there should be some weird version, some rules,
Right.
some weird thing where like you lose access to some things but gain others, or something happens with your house where it doesn't
Yeah.
penalize the player. Because I think if it penalizes the player directly,
Then
players
it's
are going to
not
really
fun.
get hurt. Like they're going to be really upset if like, oh, you like took away my stuff, right? Like
Which is not
that's a lot more, I don't know, sad for a player than like, oh, you killed all my family. Whatever.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
all
yeah.
horrible.
cool. Right. Yeah. And Ray game design is about empowering the player as much as possible.
Yeah.
So I really, yeah. But I have some ideas, so definitely. Okay. And then for House of Glass and Clay. Oh, before the cat interrupted, I was trying to tell Connie. It's also up to you what divinity means. So if all of that like lust and desire is the connection to divinity,
Yes. Absolutely.
I feel like you were cultivating it.
Absolutely. Does it count?
So-
Does it count as multiple times? Because
Of
I've been like, trying to
course.
tempt people left and right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think like Enrica, you like definitely weakened, like cultivated the
Yeah.
divinity in Enrica. So.
God, we have such freaky sex. Kavar and Henrika have
Euphemism now.
it's
Yes.
so freaky.
Yeah.
So funny. Okay,
I
and
like
then-
that as the sexy times euphemism.
We're gonna go cultivate some divinity.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I don't know how Chassis split all of my tabs across different browsers. I didn't even know.
That's
So I have
Stats are
6
impressive.
browsers open. Okay, anyway. No worries, no worries. Okay, and then next we have House of Glass and Clay. Did you recreate Hollow History or discover ancient truth?
I don't know how ancient it is, but the truth that Chalcedonia, no, is that his name?
Mm-hmm. Chalcedonia, yeah.
Yeah,
I think so.
as a
I think
kid
that's right.
is a truth that was discovered.
Oh, do we want to also do a bit of a power meta game move and say like there's a tendency for the nobles to do this, like to have children with the mortals even though they shouldn't. Like it's an ancient inescapable truth.
I mean, if we're like the Greek gods, it's kind of unavoidable.
Right.
Yeah.
There's only
true.
7 of us, and okay, a dozen maybe, but like,
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, go ahead and mark XP for that, right? Yeah, I like it a lot. Okay, so yeah, and lastly, let's see. We have at the end of each session for the throne XP. You know, I keep going back and forth if I should also have throne XP because it's a lot of XP to keep track of. But anyway, I feel like let's start with this next session, right?
Okay.
We can
should we
always like
roll our ambitions to see how the ambition clocks went at the end of our?
oh, that happens at the end of every scheme during the agenda flashback.
Oh, okay, sounds good.
Yeah. Perfect. All right, so basically that's it for our first interlude session. We're ready to
Yeah.
go. We're ready to have a party.
We're gonna have a party.
Like, go after Blood and Bone. We will go over the specifics of what that looks like next time. But I'm super excited.
I'm wondering who is going to be selling Eloise on the plan. We will. I think we can do that next session. I will not play hard to get on that. I just curious. I'm curious
I
as to
really
how
want to.
it's presented.
I
It
really
doesn't
want
have to be just
be the
one
one.
of us.
Can we tag team you?
Yeah, absolutely. I just feel like there. I don't want to just be like suddenly Eloise is fighting her own family and we didn't see on screen as to the why. But,
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, Kavar will absolutely like hit on Eloise. So like when she tries to like distract you later on during the scheme, it won't be like out of the blue.
Yeah, nice. I dig it.
Yep.
Excellent. Love to see it. All right. So yeah, thank you so much for playing the first session. It was so great.
Thank
It's
you.
I mean,
a lot of fun. What a
think
great game.
Yeah.
What a great game. Yeah.
Thank you.
I love all the options in it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of mechanical and narrative choices, and I think you gave us enough structure that we can, like with the interlude actions, that we can figure out like, oh, this is the kinds of things I should be doing, because in like these big political things, sometimes it's hard to know like where do you start, how do you make traction, and I think you gave us lots of cool options for what to do.
I also want to give a shout out, like the Seek Intrigue action is so much fun, and that's built after the Girl by Moonlight like
Social
downtime
links.
Social links are so good. I love them so much.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to do it, and it gives the players reasons to open up to each other and to talk about what they care about. So
which is super cool. Yeah, I do want to say one of my favorite moments with Seek Intrigue is I had one player who was like, no, I'm not going to let them set the setting of the blah blah blah. I was like, whoa, what's going? Anyway,
I don't care about the extra die.
It was such a dramatic reveal. It's just so funny. Okay. But basically I think that's it.
Cool. Let's do our outros. I'm Sean. I use he him pronouns. I had an absolute delight playing this game tonight, and I'm so glad that we have it on the channel. We'll be back in 2 weeks to play more of it. Tomorrow, Cartel kicks off with Misha. And I think we also have some municipal dungeon delving coming up as in the next I think on Friday. So maybe 3 days in a row of actual play. Could it be? It's amazing. The current thing that I'm real jazzed about right now is Improv for Gamers just launched on GameFound yesterday. It is a huge selection of exercises of practical games and exercises to try out to improve your improv skills, which help character building, relationship building, playing with status. There's so much good stuff in it. I really, really can't recommend it enough. I mean, yes, I also am publishing it, so I want it to happen. But I really think it's a fantastic game and or a fantastic book. And Karen brought in a bunch of additional contributors this time to share their exercises and their experience. And there's lots of I don't know, just very practical things to work on that I think will improve your game. So if that sounds cool, go check out the crowdfunding on GameFound right now. Connie, how about you?
Hey everyone, I've been Connie. I played Kavar, the lust maker, who I think successfully made some lust that session. When I'm not here on actual play, I am a GM and the creative producer for Transplanar RPG, which is an all transgender BIMPOC-led D&D show set in Endake, an original non-colonial anti-Orientalist world. It's very much grim, dark, gritty fantasy meets diverse queer characters. So you'll have a bitter queer couple in one corner bickering about why did you ask your changeling friend to shapeshift into me after we broke up and hook up with each other, and now you resent the changeling for shapeshifting into me? Yeah, that's like a whole plot line that happened in the backdrop of the world is literally ending and an Eldritch Horror is about to take over. So if that's interesting to you, tune in Saturdays at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Other than that, on the game design side, I recently announced that Magpie Games has picked up my ashcan of my latest game, God Killer RPG. It is a holy punk TTRPG for one player, the God Killer, and one GM, God. So very much super similar aesthetic touchstones as this game, which I'm so excited about, Ray. And I'm just excited to be releasing more information about that. So stay tuned to things at by Connie Chong on Twitter. That's BYCONNIECHANG on Twitter, and God Killer RPG on Twitter as well. I'm gonna pass things over to Misha.
Hi, Misha B. I am finishing up some editing of Follow Me Down, which is by Joey Morton. It's Orpheus and Eurydice, but an RPG. It's very cool. I've been enjoying reading it. I think you can still crowdfund it, but I'm not 100% sure about that. And yeah, I've got a couple other irons in the fire, but they aren't quite hot yet, so I can't really talk about them yet. And I've got a couple of sewing machines set up that I'm trying to finish up, and I'll have my mom here next week so she can help me with some of the design tweaks. It's okay, these are things that it's useful to have somebody else who knows what the hell they're doing to pin stuff on you, because my kid, I tried and it just doesn't work very well. So how about you, Ray?
Yeah, so I am so happy about this game. I'm also really excited about God Killer, no lie. And so, Connie, I think you really killed it today in the descriptions for the City of Doors and all these things. So I'm so excited for God Killer. Yeah, so aside from that, I'm Ray. My pronouns are they, he, and I've been working on the Twilight Throne for, wow, it's been it's so funny. I wrote the first draft of the Twilight Throne after I submitted the first draft for Apocalypse Keys. In the 2 weeks while I was waiting for Avery's comments, I wrote the Twilight Throne.
I remember this as I was just so excited that we just picked up Apocalypse Keys and we're yeah, I'm so excited to publish this. And you're so I'm making another game. And I was I know, it's Apocalypse Keys. Because we had been talking about Balik Bion. And so you're so I've got another game in mind. I'm yeah, no, I'm stoked about it. It's no, another game. I was
oh.
I may have a slight.
I'm very stoked to see.
But the Twilight Throne is still a work in progress. But it's already been a lot of fun. You can pre-order it on temporalhiccup.itch.io. The Twilight Throne is there, available for pre-orders. Even in its current beta state, it's so much fun. And you can catch up with the other things I'm working, like Apocalypse Keys. We keep getting exciting emails, really good stuff. So it's moving forward in really great ways.
Way out soon.
Yeah, layout soon. So good stuff. And you can catch up on Twitter at Temporal Hiccup. I have a lot of things I'm working on that I'm really excited to share with everybody. So yeah, basically that's me. Thank you so much for everybody for hanging out with us while we were terrible, terrible people. Totally not the bad guys. Totally justified,
We're the bad guys.
We gotta find that Billie Eilish song. I'm the bad guy.
Yeah. Do you see my third ambition? My third clock? We're just gonna
Oh my gosh.
Oh dear.
They're all just bad things.
We're bad people. Ooh, consume humanity? That's not evil at all.
I need all of their memories too. I need everybody's memories. I'm sorry. It's not.
You know what?
It doesn't
Humanity
work
can
if I
die.
just
That's
Battlefield
fine.
them. I'm gonna make
I
this
just want
little
my
bubble
my
to
little
fire.
door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Astra and the Harbingers could go through that door, right? So it'll be okay.
Yeah, that'll be
I'm
fine.
just gonna
You
eat
can
that
spare.
everything
You can
else
spare a
before.
little bit of humanity, right, Eloise?
I mean, no.
You have a little
We
humanity as a
all
treat.
consuming. Do you notice the capital A under all? Yeah, but we'll
I
see.
love
Maybe
that so much.
maybe
We'll
they'll
see,
change into something that isn't human. Maybe they'll become something else.
Yeah,
Maybe
we
there's a
shall see.
loophole.
Yeah.
This
Chaos
has been
magic. Who
fantastic.
knows? You know.
Exactly. It's chaos magic. Who even is human anymore after all the chaos magic just came out? We don't know. This should be a delight. I look forward to playing with all of you soon. And now I think we're going to do the thing where we disappear, but you can still hear us. It's silliness. Good night, all. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
And